Today I'll discuss some events from the book of Genesis, chapter 19. Now this chapter covers some sensitive material, therefore user discretion is advised if you have any young ears nearby. Hi, my name is Ronald. Welcome to Bible Talk. Last I mentioned that God and Abraham discussed the fate of Sodom and Gomorrah. God told Abraham that due to the outcry against Sodom and such grave sin that the Lord was going to destroy both cities, Abraham's nephew Lot and his family lived there, so Abraham asked God if some righteous people were there, would he still destroy it? And God said no, that he would not. Now verse 18:25, Abraham says to God, "Far be it from you to do such a thing as this, to slay the righteous with the wicked, so that the righteous should be as the wicked. Far be it from you. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right?" Now this rhetorical question affirmed Abraham's clear understanding of God's character as being able to do only what is good and totally above reproach. Now chapter 19 begins with the two angels who were earlier with the angel of the Lord and Abraham entering the city gate of Sodom. Now Lot was sitting at the gates. Now there was a steady progression of compromise in Lot's life. He went from looking towards Sodom in Genesis 13:10 to pitching his tent towards Sodom, Genesis 13:12, to living in Sodom, Genesis 14:12, and then losing everything when Sodom was attacked. Now back at the infamous city, Lot sat in the gate of Sodom, indicating that he was a civic leader. City officials and other prominent citizens conducted their community's affairs at the gates. Lot participated there as a judge, as we see in verse 9. The two angels told Lot that they would spend the night in the open square. However, Lot insisted that they stay at his house. Lot's invitation to the angels to partake of his hospitality was most likely not just a courtesy, but an effort to protect them from the known perversity of the Sodomites. They agreed to stay at his place, and he prepared a feast including unleavened bread, which they ate. The 19:4-5 says, "Now before they lay down, the men of the city, the men of Sodom, both old and young, all the people from every quarter surrounded the house. And they called to Lot and said to him, 'Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us, that we may know them carnally.'" Now both the size of the lustful mob of men circling Lot's house and the widespread nature of Sodom's moral perversion received emphasis. It says, "All the people from every quarter, both old and young," and the request, "know them carnally." This was indeed a wicked city. 19:6-8 continues, "So Lot went to them through the doorway, shut the door behind him, and said, 'Please, my brethren, do not do so wickedly. See now, I have two daughters who have not known a man. Please, let me bring them out to you, and you may do to them as you wish. Only do nothing to these men, since this is the reason they have come under the shadow of my roof.'" Now they wanted homosexual relations with the visitors. God's attitude toward homosexual behavior became clear when he destroyed the cities in verses 23-29. Now the Bible is very clear. All homosexual behavior is prohibited and condemned by God. Cross-reference this Leviticus 18:22, 29, 20:13, Romans 1:26, 1 Corinthians 6:9, 1 Timothy 1:10. Lot's response shows a problem with his ethics. His offer to gratify their sexual lust with his daughters contradicted his plea not to act so wickedly. Verse 9-11, "And they said, 'Stand back.' Then they said, 'This one came in to stay here, and he keeps acting as a judge. Now we will deal worse with you than with them.' So they pressed hard against the man Lot and came near to break down the door. But the men reached out their hands, pulled Lot into the house with them, and shut the door, and they struck the men who were at the doorway of the house with blindness, both small and great, so they became weary trying to find the door. So they pressed hard." Homosexual deviation carries an uncontrollable lust that defies restraint. Even when blinded, they tried to fulfill their lusts, verse 11. Verse 10 shows that Lot was now being protected by those who he had tried to protect earlier. Now the two angel men then asked Lot if anyone else was there. "Whoever you have in this city, take them out of this place, as the Lord has sent us to destroy these cities." Now Lot spoke with his sons-in-law and told them, but they thought that he was joking. When morning came, the angels urged Lot to hurry, take your wife and your 2 daughters who were here, and get out. Scripture says that he lingered. Then the men took hold of his hand, his wife's hand, and the hands of his daughters. The Lord was merciful to him, and they brought him out and set him outside the city. "Escape for your life, do not look back," they said. Then Lot tells the angels that he doesn't want to go to the mountains, that there's a little town nearby, can we go there? And they agreed, but asked them to hurry. Verse 23 says, "Then the sun had risen upon the earth when Lot entered Zoar. Then the Lord rained brimstone and fire on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. So he overthrew those cities, all the plains, all the inhabitants of the cities, and what grew on the ground. But the wife looked back, and she became a pillar of salt." Both the Hebrew scriptures, Leviticus 18:22 and 20:13, and the Greek scriptures, Romans 1:26 to 28, condemn homosexual conduct. Jesus himself affirmed the Old Testament's condemnation of homosexual conduct when he said, "Do not think that I came to destroy the law or the prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to fulfill," Matthew 5:1-7. Jesus also affirms the biblical ideal of marriage consisting of one man and one woman joined in a lifelong relationship, Matthew 19:4-6. Now, the Bible condemns homosexual conduct in the same context as it condemns incest and bestiality, again, Leviticus 18:22 and 20:13. If we decide that pleasure is the ultimate goal of sex, and the measure of its morality, or the mentality of if it feels good, do it, then there's no standing to say that incest or bestiality are sin. Yikes. I'm going to leave it there for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. God bless.